Hi, everybody. This is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to our Kafir update. We call it simply the update. We'll take a look at what's transpired in the Middle East over the last week. It is the 9th of May, and again, we'll look back. But just a reminder, make sure you get the PDF PowerPoint that accompanies this presentation. You can get that just on this YouTube page. Just click the link. Or go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com. All right, what in the heck is going on? As you know, I usually start this with a section or something that I refer to as I see it. And the questions of our day, Rafah, what's going on there? Ceasefire, do we have one or not? Hostages, how many are alive? Israel, standing alone, college campuses, and Hezbollah. There's about 6 different things there that we'll touch upon as we move forward, looking back once again over this last week. Regarding the college campuses, I found it interesting to read this quote from an official Fatah spokesperson. Campus, quote, protest movements came as a result of an effort that the Palestinian communities there have been making for many years. A prominent activist in America has basically said concerning all this, it has made us extremely happy and is promoting Hamas. That's what's going on, folks, right here in our own backyard. And then concerning Rafah, 2 different ways to look at it. Who's in control? Is there a puppet master behind the scenes pulling the strings? But the ground maneuver in Rafah, the U.S. says this is a limited operation to block the weapons flow from Egypt. The main words there, limited operation. Now, Israel comes out and says this is an ongoing operation that will not stop until the return of our abductees. And then this is just spinning out of control as we'll take a look at what's next. The U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, the U.S., this is unbelievable. The U.S. has suspended the shipment of weapons to Israel. We are currently examining the short-term security support in the context of the events in Rafah. We have not yet decided how we will proceed regarding the suspended shipment. In other words, Biden's administration is shutting off our support to Israel because we want to control the narrative of what's taking in Rafah. And there are those who believe that Biden's administration wants to keep Hamas somewhat in power. And so this leads to our major articles. Bibi at Yad Vashem this week, Holocaust Memorial Day, his comments 80 years ago. In the Holocaust, the Jewish people were totally defenseless against those who sought our destruction. No nation came to our aid. But today, we're confronted with a similar scenario. And then, kind of staring through the cameras, making the statement that he wants the world to hear as the Prime Minister of Israel, the one and only Jewish state. I pledge here today from Jerusalem on this Holocaust Remembrance Day. And it's interesting because he had been speaking in Hebrew, and when he got to this point, he stopped, collected his thoughts, and spoke in English. You know who the intended audience was, right? And then he says, if Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone. But we know that we're not alone because there are countless decent people around the world that support our just cause. And I say to you, we will defeat Hamas. And then again, that steely-eyed stare ending with saying, never again is now. And then we have Biden, the double-minded man. So there seems to be two different Bidens, one that spoke at the Holocaust event and the one who flew to Israel during the war. That's one side. You know, that ironclad support. I haven't forgot what's taken place on October 7th. But the other side, the double-minded side, is now that Biden is engaged in party politics, telling Israel it has a right to defend itself, but then goes on to say, but we will tell you how, when, why, and where. So Biden definitely wants to control the narrative. He needs the votes. He needs the Muslim votes. This is party politics right now. And so, and again, back and forth. And Bibi's statement remains echoing in the hallways, even in Congress today. If Israel's forces stand alone, Israel will stand alone. But it's interesting because from the liberal side, from the Democratic side, progressive Democrats responded to Biden by saying they praised Biden, and they said Biden has long warned Netanyahu that invading Rafah would be a red line. It would result in untold civilian death and destruction and undermine our efforts to return the hostages. This is Senator Van Hollen, a Democrat from Maryland. And then he goes on to say, I applaud him today for making clear exactly where the U.S. stands, and we will not be complicit in this suffering. And so, handwriting's on the wall. We still have to wait and see the outcome. There are those that are going to say there's going to be we've already seen the reaction to all this. And so there's going to be a spokesperson that comes out in the next day or so and basically will rewrite the script. What Joe actually meant to say, and then it'll go from there, because this is politics. And again, friends don't let friends, and this is Biden once again. This whole thing that happened when Israel went into Rafah and Hamas declared that it accepted a ceasefire, Israel feels like it was completely played by the United States and Qatar and Egypt after Hamas's surprise announcement that it had accepted a hostage deal proposal on Monday evening. Again, the proposal that they said they accepted, Israel didn't even know about. It was nowhere near what was proposed whatsoever. But by making that statement, it fueled the resentment, the fear, the anger in terms of bring them home now. You mean they're willing to send us our hostages, and Bibi is now saying no? And when you read the fine print, you realize they got played. And once again, friends, true friends, you just don't do that to your allies. But when you're playing politics, that's not the way things are going to roll out. And then again, Biden's freezing arms shipment. The Biden administration has frozen planned arms shipment to Israel. Now we get reaction, but Israel's basically coming out and saying, we got enough of what we need to deal with Rafah, but the issue is going to be ongoing. Does Israel have enough of what it needs to deal with Hezbollah? Does Israel have enough of what it needs to deal with the Gallant border, the Iranian revolutionary forces that are there? How far will Biden take this in not supplying Israel? Keep in mind, Israel gets 70% of its military aid. It purchases it from the U.S., but 70% comes from the U.S. And then there's a Twitter, or what's it called now, X, Republican Elise Stefanik makes this statement. This is on her Twitter account. Our great ally Israel is fighting for her existence against a barbaric Iranian-backed terrorist, and Joe Biden is reportedly stopping shipments of U.S.-made ammunition to Israel. This is unacceptable. Joe Biden has completely abandoned our closest ally to appease his far-left pro-Hamas base. And of course, the Trump campaign's going crazy over this. And then Defense Minister Yoav Gallant meeting with the IDF soldiers before going in to Rafah, the Gaza Strip. He simply makes a statement, and it's the Middle East mentality. Hamas is messing with us. Psychological warfare. We'll give up this for that, and then they take it back off the table. And then he simply makes this statement, Hamas only responds to force. So we will intensify our actions. And the military pressure will result in us crushing Hamas. And so that's what's taking place right now at this exact time. And then a couple more articles that I'll leave for you to read on your own because of our time. Apparently there was some hikers that discovered an Iranian ballistic missile that was part of that April 13th launching of so many out of Iran. And the bottom line is that what they found were ballistic missiles that were capable of carrying nuclear warheads. And so keep in mind, this war is not just a war of choice. This whole thing is a war for national survival. And then, again, whether you see the college campuses and the phrasing and the banners and the caliphs, the head mask and all of that sort of stuff, and the phrasing, globalize the Intifada. Do you know what the Intifada actually means? Do you know that it has to do with destruction and terror, and this is what we want to take place, the ramifications of an intifada. Yeah, I know it has a nice ring for the woke generation that want to wear their headbands and all of that sort of thing and chant, but it's anarchy, and it's bent towards the destruction of traditional American culture. And once again, it's heartbreaking to see what's taking place with the radicals that are on our campuses today. Anyhow, a couple other things as we go. The front page of the New York Post, betrayed, Traitor Joe. That is, Biden vows to cut off weapons. This was a quote that I found. History will never forget this. While Israel waits for their loved ones being held hostage by Hamas, the rest of the world is busy chanting the slogan, Free Palestine, Free Palestine, Global Intifada. They should be chanting, Free the hostages, Free the hostages. And then once again, never again is now. And take a look at that in slide number 14. And then this Sunday night, as the sun goes down, Israel will be remembering their fallen soldiers as well as victims of terror. Again, the Israeli Memorial Day, Yom HaZikaron, sunset this Sunday. Never forget. Well, that's our presentation for this week. A reminder that Holy Ground has put together a fall tour that we've called The Land, the People, and the King. We will be going to Israel November 7th through the 17th. All of the information on that tour is on our website. Check it out, Holy Ground exploration.com. We feel like the time is now. As you've heard us say before, in Israel, the people that we know, that we trust, have made this statement to us the last time we were there a couple months ago. Israel does not need visitors. Right now, Israel needs friends. The land, nothing like it. The people, and of course the King. Pray about joining us. Again, that's it for this week. God bless you, and shalom.